Hello, I'm David Collins. I'm from the Mankind Project in the community in Johannesburg. I was initiated in 2005, and my mission, if you like, has been really kind of boiled down to something where whatever I do, I like to empower personal responsibility. And the reason I want to create this video is to teach my model, which I've kind of integrated 12-step work with the warrior archetypal work, and I'm doing it really in honor of the death that's just happened, and I've really found the work to be very helpful for myself and for the clients that I work with, and I found the 12 steps to be very helpful for me. I got into recovery in '96, and then 9 years later I went and I did the MKP work, and the archetypal work of the MKP pit cycle and the weekend and everything really kind of ignited me to follow the leader path, leader track, and I'm a certified co-leader. And I run a rehab, I run a clinic in Johannesburg, a substance abuse addiction treatment clinic. And if you look at the clinic as being a container, what I've done is I've integrated all this work to create a container where our clients come for a 21-day or a 42-week program, and they do a lot of this work and a lot of the kind of 12-step work combined with cognitive behavioral therapy. I have psychiatrists, I have psychologists there, I have Rogerian counselors there, and with the integration of everything, that really benefits our clients, hopefully. So I'm going to teach the model today. I've changed the archetype slightly to suit the work that we do, and we start in the, well, we start with a pen that doesn't work. How embarrassing, you know, when you want to do something, get it right. That was my son in the background there. Anyway, we start in the north with the warrior. Warrior, I don't know if I've spelled that right, I'm dyslexic. It's part of, it's been part of my challenge and my kind of learning style. But anyway, we have the warrior there, and then we have the magician here in the south. And then if we go across, we have the lover in the east, and then the king in the west. And I know the axis mundi that we have here is slightly different to what Jung came up with, but this is the way that I've created and done it. As we know, the warrior is about anger. The lover is about grief. The magician is about fear. And the king is about joy or blessing. And each of these emotions is the gateway, the gateway emotion to the archetype. So, and the reason I've structured this in this kind of way is so that if we combine it with the 12 steps, we'll go with the first 3 steps, which is obviously 1, 2, and 3, and we draw the steps out here: step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and we break these steps up into the 4 quadrants, and each step that has a spiritual principle to it. And if with our clients you can identify what the core feeling is, you get a map to which step needs to be worked, or which would assist the client in creating what we call recovery capital, which is how they can integrate that spiritual principle into their lives and move from a culture of addiction to a culture of recovery. which is kind of living a life of meaning and purpose. So if you kind of go to step 12, which says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry the message to the addict or the alcoholic who still suffers, and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So the idea of the model or the framework is to assist our clients in finding what the core emotion is and what principle they need to tap into to practice within all their affairs. So they can go out into the world and live a life of joy and purpose and meaning. So step 1, 2, and 3 is about anger. Anger is about boundaries. And a lot of people in addiction have very unhealthy boundaries for whatever reason. And when they come into recovery, the first kind of things you need to do is, often addicts that come in for treatment are very angry, and you need to kind of tap into that archetype and not to shame. We are very, 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 let me get this clear, very opposed to shaming our clients into recovery. And the reason that we do that is a recovery that's based on shame does not lead to a mature recovery. And I'll go into that later. But we have the first 3 steps is honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. That's the how of the program. Yeah. And those 3 principles are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. And you'll know from the kind of the fellowships, those of you that have in the fellowships, you'll hear phrases like changing people, places, and things, playgrounds, playmates. And really, if you think about it, when people come into our facility, it's about structure, it's about boundaries, it's about finding, when people come in for the first week, there's no contact with the outside world, pretty much like when on the weekend you kind of do the descent and things are taken away, so you disconnect from the outside world. In our treatment center, we do the same thing, it just lasts a week. And the reason that we put those boundaries in place is to protect our clients and to protect the families, or to give the families a break from the chaos of addiction. And so those boundaries need to be put into place, and that really deals with the present. The here and now, right here, right now, what's going on for you, where are you feeling, what's happening in your container as our clients kind of detox. As they move on into the program, they're going to be moving to steps 4, 5, and 6, which is really about going off into the past, what you've lost. This is where we get the gift of compassion. Yeah, and our clients, or whoever you are who's ever working a 12-step program, needs to go back into the past, do a searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself. So you're basically going in, you're going to look at yourself, and to do that is often a scary thing. It's to go and look at the past and to face that sadness, that grief, that loss that's been lost. You then move on to step 5, where you admit to yourself, to God, to the universe, to whatever it is, but really it's to the other human being, the exact nature of your wrongs, that the clients kind of get to kind of realize. And with these spiritual principles, there's this one is faith, courage, and then you get to a place of trust. So, and that's really building up the relationship between you and your client or whoever you're working with. Then our clients move on to steps 7, 8, and 9, and once you've kind of realized how your defects of character have impacted your life and how your kind of thinking and behavior, whatever that is, has caused you pain, you're entirely ready to have God remove these shortcomings. And what is God? What is whatever that is for the client, the God, the higher power, the group, the I group, the fellowship, the church, your relationship with your therapist, it doesn't really matter. But whatever it is, you can't do it anymore. Kind of here you're powerless, and here you kind of surrender to it, and you let Spirit be ready to take that away from you. Step 7 is about humility. It's about humbly asking for the shortcomings. On the weekends or in the I groups, we'll learn about accountability, holding ourselves accountable, living a life with integrity, that sort of stuff. As clients enter into recovery, we're going to carry on making mistakes, and we need to kind of repair those relationships. And this is dealing with the past. And this quadrant really deals with the future. And because a lot of kind of the fear is about now what's going to happen. I've caused so much damage in my past. I don't think I'm ever going to get right, because right here, right now, I'm completely overwhelmed, triggered, whatever. And I've got to go and repair these relationships. And to repair those relationships, I've got a whole lot of shortcomings that I still need to take responsibility for. I must become willing to repair those relationships and then go out and actually do the work. And this takes a lot of kind of courage and faith and humility and trust and willingness. And then we move to 10, 11 and 12, which is really about growing up. It's about living a life of joy, a life of purpose, and that's really kind of what recovery is about. So in steps 10, 11 and 12, it's about growing up. And how do you do that? We continue to take personal inventory on a daily basis. We sort through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand Him. For me, it's about like living my life of mission, my life of purpose, doing the things that really kind of ignite my kokorozashi. That's really kokorozashi. Kokorozashi is a Japanese word which means what your soul's purpose is here, why you're here on this planet. And steps 10, 11 and 12 help you do that, because seeking through prayer and meditation to improve your conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry it out. So really what happens is when our clients get to step 11, they're starting to take responsibility for their lives. They're starting to be empowered, and the idea is that you go out there and you live your life of purpose. You haven't got a kind of an excuse anymore to live in the victim consciousness, that you actually need to move to the survivor consciousness, and the world is waiting for you to go out there and to live what your life of purpose is. And then we get back to step 12, which is we try to carry the message to the addict who still suffers and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So if we combine the step work on top of the archetypes in a way like this, we can teach our clients to actually start to feel what the core feeling is. And when they identify what that core feeling is, there is a way of tapping into the steps to assist them in creating their recovery. So if we break the quadrant up and the steps up, we can look at it as like the first 3 steps are about facing up. Did I get that right? Owning up. It's the other way around. Making up. And growing up. So this is actually owning up. And this is facing up. Yeah. So I'm owning up, like can't do this anymore. I surrender, I give up, I'm beat, I'm done, I've had it. I've got to face up to the consequences of what my behavior, my addiction, whatever I'm trying to recover from has caused, the amount of pain that it's caused for me, my family, those around me. I need to start making up to the world, to those relationships, to myself, to kind of, I've got to kind of make up, rebuild, to amend those stuff. And now that I've done that, now I need to grow up and take responsibility for my life and basically go out there and do good. If I do that, then I'm going to be living a life of purpose and meaning. And a lot of these things just kind of go around and around and around, and the work goes deeper and deeper and deeper. If we now look at shame, okay, shame. So we got the 5 core feelings: fear, sadness, anger, joy, guilt, and shame, which is kind of what we teach on the weekends as well. But guilt and shame, I draw on the outside here as a kind of a shadow emotion or an immature emotion. Shame is a truth teller, but it's also quite a naive emotion in the sense that, like, little boys feel shame, I've done bad, I am bad, whatever the message is, but it's usually the shame, shame is attached to one of these feelings. So I feel ashamed that I started to cry. I feel guilty that I got angry and I didn't express that in a mature way. I didn't, I got angry and I spanked my kids, and actually there was part of me that kind of got pleasure out of spanking my kids, but I get like ashamed about it. That's an extreme example. But just to kind of give an idea, let me draw that in white, just so that you can get a better picture. So if we have, if we can kind of see that shame is lurking on the outside, lurking within the shadows, and it attaches itself to one of these core feelings, the maturer feelings. And I believe our work is to kind of get our clients to kind of identify their feelings and to grow out. Their addiction and their using isn't a bad thing. This is the culture of addiction that we're trying to change. Like, addiction has been a diversity issue. The drug laws that kind of came in the 1900s, those kind of patriarchal, draconian laws that have kind of come in and permeated our society and kind of caused splitting and everything, has pushed addiction into the shadows. And we all know that, like, addiction is born in shame. So we're trying to get our clients to come out of their shame and to grow up, to identify their feelings, their thinking, their morals, what works for them, so that they can take responsibility and live their life, whatever their purpose is, whatever their calling is, whatever they get to hear in prayer and meditation, which is really kind of quietening the mind. Prayer's the answer. Prayer's the question, meditation's the answer. And the fellowship is filled with all these kind of cliches, but what I'm trying to do is use the model to bring it together, so it becomes, so we can empower our clients through education and knowledge, that they can then go out and do what they need to do. So when we put in the shadow archetypes, you can see it gets quite complex. But we put in the shadow archetypes. Let me actually take it over here so we can see it more. And we know that this is, if I suppress my anger, if I express my anger, if I express my joy, if I suppress my joy, if I express my fear, if I suppress my fear, if I suppress my grief, and if I express my grief, we move into the shadow archetypes. And then here we're going to put the addicted lover. And then here we have the masochist. Here we have the sadist. Here we have the tyrant. Here we have the weakling. Here we have the trickster or the manipulator. That's mine. That's where all my works kind of come along. The detached manipulator. And then the impotent lover. We can then see where the shadow is living, and this is really what I want to kind of thank the work of kind of Robert Moore and reading the book King, Warrior, Magician, Lover and the Mankind Project for teaching me this sort of stuff so that we can put that on top of the 12 steps, which is actually a spiritual based program, and it's really a model that's kind of helped me personally integrate and to take responsibility for my life, because we all kind of need to, if the mature masculine or the mature recovery, if the goal is to get to the center here, this map assists our clients, our framework, or people with a familiarity of a 12-step program, how to kind of integrate their recovery more and to integrate the spiritual principles. Because if in our rehab we find that when our clients come in, a lot of them have the addicted lover archetype, and a lot of them really struggle to express their anger. So certainly for me, like, I would feel really guilty about expressing my anger, so I'd take stuff on, I become a people pleaser, I go, everything's fine, I swallow my anger, I move down here, and then I end up going to a world of self-pity, and I need a drink, and I'm in this realm of the shadow, and my work is to move to here. What is the anger? Why am I angry? Learn how to express the anger in a healthy way, to create healthy boundaries and to be able to kind of move on. A lot of our clients can't express their feelings, and they kind of isolate down here and become detached. This is often people that are very kind of codependent, not particularly these guys. But and a lot of these guys kind of can be very depressed and actually start to kind of look for medication to assist them in getting out of the depression. But actually what needs to happen is, if you can build up the relationship, if you can build up the particularly this, where you build up the relationship with someone else, they start to trust and to come out and to talk about the fear of expressing their feelings, their grief. I've got a lot of magician energy. I'm very kind of ADD. I'm very trickstery. Really, at the core, I'm very anxious, and I live here. So the way that I manipulate people is I crack jokes, I sabotage. All my leadership work in the project has been about managing this joker inside me and moving and embracing my fear. So for me to stand here and to put myself out there to you guys is quite kind of scary and vulnerable for me, because my head is projecting, oh my God, they know so much more, all the Americans, they know everything, who am I to be doing this? And I in my leadership, I'm in the realm of the weakling, and my work is to kind of step up and move towards this and to embrace my knowledge. And secretly, I think this is brilliant. I actually secretly think I'm quite fucking clever to be able to put this together. My strength on the weekend is often on the carpet work, and that's all my magician stuff. And then, of course, if you go into the tyrant, and when people have all this sort of knowledge, they can become very tyrannical and use this work in a sadistic and nasty way. They get pleasure out of expressing their anger in a nasty, horrible way. And I mean, obviously, the map helps me with all my interactions. So, for example, with my kids, when I've noticed when I say, do it because I say so or something, there's a sick, dark pleasure that's kind of living in here. And I would say, I mean, if I track that back to my past, it's because I've been kind of bullied in my past and all that. And then I can feel that when I exert that power, there's something very seductive and nice and sadistic. And I mean, to own this stuff, I feel a bit like, ooh, dear. But so my work here is to move along this archetype, along this continuum, these continuums. So this is really the framework, the map to kind of assist people working 12-step programs that have an understanding of the spiritual principles that is behind each step, and how to integrate that with people that have done the warrior work in a model to kind of bring everything together. And my hope is that you guys can kind of do this stuff to, do your mission of service, whatever that is. Just don't go do bad with this stuff. Do good. Don't do harm. Do good. That's the bottom line thing that I try and kind of keep myself safe with. And in South Africa here, we've got a lot of shadow. We've got a lot of stuff we've got a lot of broken relationships because of apartheid, because of segregation, because of colonialism, because of what's the history of this country. And our leadership here is either in this archetype or in this archetype, shadow archetype, and what the leadership work is trying to do is to bring it to the center here. And this, of course, is Madiba, Mandela. People assume, and the projection is, and everything is, that he was there, and there's a great kind of model for that. So I really hope this has been helpful, and my reason to do this is to try and kind of just spread my thinking out there. It's with the spirit of mission, and I hope it's kind of come out. Thank you very much for all those that have gone before me, and I hope this is going to help those that come after me. Thank you for everything.